Hey YouTubers, what's up? Lindsay here, and today I'll be talking about a topic that's really important to me, and that's sheet music, annotation, and notation, and how it's changing today. The basic, broken down, elementary definition of sheet music is that it's a form of musical notation that takes staves and notes to form a musical piece. It contains things like key signatures and chords and rhythms to make up a song. It's basically just like a whole nother language that's specifically for musicians to learn and study, and it takes years to fully understand it in its complexity, just like any other language. So what is sheet music and how did it begin? According to Wikipedia, sheet music started around 2000 BC in a cuneiform tablet in Sumer. Then, before the 15th century, in the Middle Ages medieval times, the fad was handwritten preserved manuscripts with no distinct rhythms. Then the printing press was invented in the 15th century, which gave sheet music the ability to be distributed, and after that, music engraving and metal plate engraving was implemented in the 16th century. Some of the most famous composers like Beethoven and Mozart were huge in the 18th and early 19th centuries. That's when works like Ode to Joy, Für Elise, Ave Verum Corpus, and some of the most famous sonatas and symphonies were created. In the 19th century, sheet music publishers took complete control of the sheet music industry, and copyright laws and strict infringement laws started sprouting. Then, moving to the early 20th century, computers started becoming popular and recorded music was the next big thing. Software called musical optical character recognition was invented in the 1990s, which made it possible for sheet music to be scanned and read. And this is when sheet music truly became virtual. Music could now be downloaded and you could read it off of a screen. This also allowed publishing houses to release sheet music to the public for purchase on the internet. And that's what led to websites like musicnotes.com, Sheet Music Plus, and all these other websites that provide sheet music online for us today. Today, practically everything about sheet music is digital. You could get all your sheet music online, you could write your own sheet music on a screen, and you can take all your printed sheet music, your printed paper music, and you can scan it into your own library or database. We also have access to systems like the MusicPad Pro and the eStand, which offer electronic annotation and composition. The MusicPad Pro allows musicians to scan music in easily, gives access to thousands of songs in a library that's provided, and has a digital keyboard that lets you annotate on the screen. The eStand offers multiple different packages and tablets, it pairs with Windows, gives a sheet music library through a CD-ROM, and lets users share their music with other performers, either in their orchestra or just because. Devices like these make it easier for musicians to carry around all their sheet music and keep everything in one place. Their size and weight make it easier to carry than a binder because it's smaller, thinner, and lighter. A musician is also able to adjust the brightness and size of the notes in front of them and the music in front of them, so it's easier to read. Another huge advancement in sheet music was an invention by Harry Connick Jr., you know, the guy that was like, he's the actor and the singer and the comedian. He's just like all in one everything. Yeah, he invented a system in 1999 that allowed orchestras to sync all their music together. This system really aided big bands and groups because they could now all have the same music on computer screens at the same time. So where do we see the world of sheet music going? Well, in my brain, I see a world where all of sheet music is digital. There's no printed pieces of paper sheet music left. It'll be so rare to find one of those that they'll be in museums everywhere, probably across the world, and a discovery of one of them would be a major discovery. Like, oh my god, guys, look, I just found a piece of paper that has sheet music on it that someone wrote. Crazy! It's not going to be like on a screen, so that's where I see it going. I also believe that the future of sheet music lies in the Mutopia project and the International Music Score Library project. These two are very similar. They're basically virtual libraries online that offer sheet music, sometimes free of charge, but usually for purchase. But these libraries online are way bigger than like the websites I mentioned earlier, like Sheet Music Plus and Music Notes, which are actually rather limited. And what's also really good about these projects is that they want to work with professional artists and musicians who want to share their music with maybe younger, less experienced artists who want to learn. One huge shift in sheet music history and where it's headed right now, I think, is apps in the App Store that allow musicians to compose songs on their phone or their tablet, or to annotate songs on their tablets and phones. And like, you basically can pick out your notes and put them on the staff and what they look like and make a song that way. One app that is changing the game is called Tab Toolkit. It's mainly geared toward guitar players, but it's basically an app where users can learn sheet music on their phone by spending $1 per song. It's crazy. I have the description of the app pulled up here, so I'll read it for you guys so you know what I'm talking about a little bit more. There's speed control, A/B looping, full score music notation with all instruments, and real-time instrument guides. You can easily select the part you want to learn, slow it down, and loop it with full control of each track's audio on guitar, bass, drum, and keyboard tracks. Handy instrument guides show where to put your fingers. And you can get full scores of your favorite songs with complete notation for each guitar, bass, drum, and keyboard track with vocal tracks and lyrics. There's multi-track audio synthesis. There's audio samples of 190 instruments. It also gives you easy access to your own guitar tab collection, supporting text, PDF, and multi-track rich tab formats. So you can buy music from the store that's in the app called the Tab Store. You can upload your own music from your PC laptop, or you can search it online in the app. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, so basically you just have all this sheet music on your phone and you're learning it for $1 per song. So here's what the app looks like on different devices. I think also with an app like this, other creators will definitely be inspired to make similar content, therefore aiding the future of sheet music as well. So now, what is my opinion on the whole matter and how I feel about the change towards the digital world? I honestly am pretty upset about the whole situation. Of course it's going to happen. I can't do anything about it. But the reason I'm not totally supportive of it is because, to me, sheet music is kind of sacred. I feel like making it digitalized will decrease its value and importance. And I feel like sheet music has such beauty in it, and it needs to be preserved and maintained. And turning everything digital isn't going to do that. Also, I believe writing things down from pen to paper will help with memorization better than writing things down on a screen. This has been proven in multiple articles, and we've been told it in school that you should write your notes on paper rather than on your computer screen because it will help with memorization. This will also aid individual musicians because they'll memorize their corrections that they received in class or rehearsal better if they write them down compared to on a screen. And then this therefore will benefit orchestras and choirs in group settings because those musicians that were messing up won't mess up as much if they write their corrections down and on paper, not on their Music Pad Pro, you know? In a New York Times article entitled "When Classical Musicians Go Digital," some artists involved state how with digital music there's not as much personality. For example, one composer explains how because digital sheet music is the final version of the song or piece, you no longer have quite the same slavish worship of the text. This supports what I was saying earlier about how sheet music is a form of art and is valuable to a lot of musicians that want to maintain its integrity. Another artist in the article, named Miss Wu, said she enjoyed sorting through the psychological clues earlier composers left behind in their handwritten scores, as well as if you have the neat printed score, you don't see the struggle. This point is so valid to me because in Beethoven and Mozart's music, seeing their scribbles and markings clearly show their thought process and emotion while writing this piece, as well as it shows themselves and who they are as a musician and person. These scribbles provide history and also show modern musicians the process it takes to create a real work of art. Also, by using pencil or pen on your music, you can easily cross things out or cut out sections you aren't planning to sing or play without fully deleting the music itself. So if you wanted to reuse that music and play the full version of it uncut, or if you change your mind and want to keep your original composition, you can. With composing music digitally, every change you make will be saved while the original ideas will not be. It's like saving a Word document. When you type something out and then you save it, it's great. But then if you want to go back and delete that part of it and save that, you're saving the new change and not the old thing. And so that's completely lost forever. It's just like that with sheet music. If you cut out a section digitally, then you're never going to see it again. One argument I want to bring up is that shit is expensive. Pardon my French, but some people don't realize other people's positions financially. It's really hard for most young people in the world right now to obtain things that are expensive. Of course, some people can afford it, and it's easy for them to obtain, but some people, it is not. So young musicians, for example, people in college, okay? Some people in college are paying their own tuition. They have to have 3 jobs because they have to pay for their meal plan because they need to eat, they need some groceries, they also need to buy winter clothes because it's cold. This is just an example. They can't spend $1,000 on something that's going to actually lead to their success. So basically they can't afford their own success. And that's sad. They don't have the accessibility and affordability that other people have. iPads are expensive for some people. And the e-stand that I mentioned earlier runs for $1,400 on their website without shipping. And then on Amazon, the Music Pad Pro runs for $300 without shipping. It's really hard for some people to afford that. So if our whole world was to go digital, we can only go digital if we're all financially stable in a place where we all can afford something like that and be equal in that sense, because we're not equal in that sense yet. So we can't change the whole world to be digital if some people are still not able to afford that lifestyle. Another issue with sheet music becoming digital is the fact that it would probably be incredibly difficult for tech crews and techies in big shows to manage around the devices. I'm sure the electronic devices would conflict with the lighting, the microphones, the Wi-Fi. There's so many things that could go wrong. I know in my high school, we had to have our cell phones and any tablets confiscated before our shows and turned off and put in another room because they would cause feedback with the microphones. And it would literally disrupt the whole show. Also, we couldn't charge our phones in an outlet because it would cause a circuit to blow out, and then the lights would like black out on stage all of a sudden. So I can't even imagine what it would be like with big computer screens and tablets. I'm sure the brightness of those will also affect the lighting, and it would have to be worked around on how they can have lights on stage that can complement the orchestra members while also being okay with the brightness of the computer screens. Also, I'm sure syncing up the sheet music with the orchestra, like Harry Connick Jr. invented, is probably a process and probably takes some extra rehearsal time, where all orchestra members have to meet before, like they usually would in a call time, to sync all their stuff up. And what if the computers, the iPads, anything like that would need Wi-Fi? That would take a lot of time for everyone to get the Wi-Fi password in the network, and then maybe the network will crash because so many people are using the Wi-Fi. So many things could happen. with that. So it's just a really bad idea for big productions on stage. I understand the appeal of sheet music becoming digital. It's very beneficial to musicians, and it makes things a lot easier for us. But at the same time, I still feel like there's a lot we haven't really talked about or thought about, and a lot of things we still have to take into consideration if we really, really want this to become digital and we want this shift to happen. Like, is digitalizing sheet music really going to be beneficial to us in the end? Or will we be thinking, man, I miss how things used to be? For more useful information, go head down to the description box below where you'll find multiple links that lead to things like Beethoven's biography, the actual definition of sheet music, and an article that proves writing with a pen and paper helps you memorize things more than writing on screens. If you made it this far, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and if you wanted to subscribe, you can go ahead and do so down below. Bye! Really hard to get everything synced up to each other. I can't talk. If that makes sense. Like, this is not making sense. Fuck techies to wow! Or are we still there's